Hello again. We want to now continue with proportionality, and this time we're going to look at the inverse proportionality. That is that when the independent variable changes in one direction, then the dependent variable will change in the opposite direction, i.e. if one goes up, the other one will go down. Once again, y is dependent on the square root of x, as before, but now we want to write it so that it's inversely proportional, and we want to write it in the form of an equation. So we write now that y is equal to k, because we have to find the constant of proportionality, as before, over the square root of x. So this tells you that it's proportional. This tells it is inversely proportional. Now we have some values we want to put in, and we know that in this particular case, y equals minus 0.25 and x equals 81. So we've got these two variables, and what we want to do is to use these two numbers to find out what the constant is. First thing we need to do, though, is to rearrange this so that we find out that the constant is the subject of the equation. So the subject of the equation, what do we do? Well, we've got to, if we multiply by both sides by the square root of x. So k equals y times the square root of x. And in this particular case, what we've done is by multiplying this side of the equation by the square root of x, it is cancelled out, and we've left k on its own, which is our intention in the first place. So we've rearranged that. Now what we want to do is to plug in these numbers where y and the square root of x exist. So we have k, which is the constant we're trying to find, equals minus 0.25, and what do you think is the square root of 81? Well, it's, I'm doing this wrong, aren't I? That should be at times the square root of 81 is 9. And that value comes out, if you want to check it, as minus 2.25. There is no units for this. It is just a constant. Constants are just coefficients that don't have any units. So therefore, k, just to clarify, equals minus 2.25. So far, so good. Now, suppose, though, these two values were given. Suppose y changed, so y now changes to a value of minus 0.15. So we have the situation here where we've got k is equal to minus 0.15 times, well, we don't know. It's going to be the square root of x. X is what we're trying to find, but we know that this is the original equation, and we found out what k is. So we've now got a situation whereby we find x, rearrange that. Well, k is minus 2.25, and that equals minus 0.15, as we said before, times, we don't normally put the times sign in, but I'm just putting it there for demonstration purposes at the moment, times the square root of x. Now we need to rearrange for the square root of x, and that is the square root of x. Well, how do we do that? Well, what we need to do is divide by this value here. Divide the whole of that by this value here. It cancels out on this side, and we need to put it on the other side. So this becomes minus 2.25 divided by minus 0.15, and that equals, you can use a calculator for this type of thing if you want. Saves doing it, that's 15, saves doing it longhand, and the answer happens to be 15. Now, but the trouble is that's the square root of x is 15. What we need to do is to find out what x is. That's the problem we're facing. We need to find out what x is when the value of y has changed to minus 0.15. The value of y has changed. What is the new value of x? But we've given the square root of x so far. So what we need to do is this 15 is equal to the square root of x. Therefore, if we square both sides, this x becomes simply x. Square root of x is x. Square root of x squared is x. And that equals 15 squared. And if you just plug that into your calculator, you'll find that equals 225. So initially we had 81 when y was a value of minus 0.25. Now we've changed, this is inversely proportional, don't forget, we've changed the value of y downwards and the value of x has gone upwards. We've changed the value of y down to minus 0.15, sorry, that's there. And now we find that the value of x has gone up to 225, and that is the correct answer. I hope that helps. We don't really need to know what the values are relating to. They might be air pressure, they might be, well, lots of things can be inversely proportional, and I hope you can think about that. Now, it would be nice if you could click on like and maybe subscribe, but also put comments or questions into the comments box. Thank you very much for your time, and good day.